Hello, my data science friends. Hope you are having a wonderful day. I'm Divyansh Agrawal, and you're watching Knowledge Overflow. Today, we will be talking about another interesting data science course that is coming your way from Western University, situated in Canada. So, this course goes by the name of Master of Data Analytics, and in this video, we will be discussing about the program overview, admission requirements, English language requirements, courses that are there in this particular course, tuition fees, everything. So, stay tuned to the last of this video to know everything about this course. And if you do like the video, please subscribe to the channel and share this video and the channel, of course, with your friends who are looking out for data science courses around the world. So let's start with the video. And first things first, the university, Western University, is situated in London, in Ontario, Canada. They've got a world rank of 170 and they have 5 plus QS stars ratings. And 5 plus stars rating means it is one of the top-notch universities. And the status is, like always, as public. Research output is very high. Student to faculty ratio is 22 is to 1. That is okay. Scholarships are there. International students are already close to 6,000. Size is large campus they are having, and total faculty of around 1,300. And this course is offered in the computer science domain. So if we talk about the rankings by subject in computer science, they have got a world rank in the rank band of 201 to 250. And of course, the graduate employability ranking is even better. It lies in the range of 121 to 130. So this is one such university you can target if you're looking out for some technically rigorous course. Now back to this course. This course, as I told, goes by the name of Master of Data Analytics. So this is the main page of this program, and this is a one-year professional science master's program. So it starts each September, and it consists of two terms. On campus, you have to go on campus for that, and fall and winter. After these 2 semesters, it is followed by a summer experiential learning opportunity. It is basically an internship that you have to do in the summer semester, and mostly these are paid experiences, so you will be paid while you are studying. So there are some skills that are needed for this particular course. Prior to starting this course, we will explore it. Now, if you look into a more detailed overview of this particular course, this is the course where you have three different paths to be followed. Basically, the specialities, and these three belongs to finance, banking, and insurance. Is the first specialty. Another one is a generalist, and third one is AI. So, which one suits for who? Finance banking is something for the students who want to understand risk management at banks. If you are looking into data science courses from the perspective of a financial institution like banks or something like that, this is the specialty for you guys. Generalist is something they'll be teaching you about general data science courses, and there will be no as such niche you will be following as was in the case of the finance. And AI is something for the students who have a background in computer science. So if you have done a BTech in computer science, you are advised to go with the artificial intelligence specialty. And there are some difference in terms of courses. I will be talking about it in a while when we discuss the course curriculum. Now, if we just hop on to the admission requirements. So the admission requirements for this particular course is you need to have an undergraduate degree of 4 years. So there is no arrangement of having a 3-year bachelor degree plus a master's degree whatsoever for this course. All you need to have is a 4-year undergraduate degree. This is a hardcore requirement. So people who have a 3-year degree watching this video, you can skip the video, like the video, and you can leave the video for now. But if you are a student who has a 4-year undergraduate degree, basically a BTech, you are eligible to apply given you have a 75% of minimum average in the last 2 years of study. But I see in India there are not many 4-year courses except for the BTech. So I guess BTech is the only choice left for you guys if you have done BTech in computer science. And there are some prerequisite courses that you have to follow. I mean, that should have been studied by you in your previous undergraduate degree, like 2 half courses on calculus. This is one thing that you study. I mean, most of the people study in the first year of their engineering, so you don't need to worry about that much. And 1 half course on linear algebra. This is also something that is almost taught in every engineering college in India. 1 half course of probability. Yes, this is also covered. Probability and statistics are mostly clubbed together. And then you have to have a one upper year mathematically mature half course. So what does that mean is there is a list that you can refer to which satisfies this need. There are some mathematics courses, applied mathematics courses, and there are then some statistical, actuarial sciences, or financial modeling courses. I reckon that these courses would not be there in BTech curriculum. So what you can do is you can follow these courses from BTech background, computer science background. Take a screenshot of this, and you can later on search for these courses in their website. And then finally, two half courses on the computer programming that you have to study. You must have studied 1026 and 1027. So these are the courses. Now, what half courses and full course means, one half course is equal to 3 hours of class time per week. So suppose you are having some classes in the week. So if you have studied 3 hours in a particular week, that becomes a half course. And if you have studied the same number of hours per week for the duration of 2 academic terms, that becomes a full course. So this is the difference between half course and full course. There is some additional requirements for the AI specialty field. What you have to do is you have to have one half course in data structures and algorithm, one half course in software tools and system programming or software design. Compiler design also can be satisfied in that, and one half course in the logic for computer science. So these are the three additional courses that you require to have a specialty of AI. Now let's just look at the English language requirements. So English language requirements are very rigorous here. It is very strict. So even if your first language is English, you need to provide the English language proficiency proof. And if you have studied from an university where the primary language of instruction is English, you are required to submit the English language proof. So if you are having a primary language as English, so 2-year-old course would work. And if your language is not English, but you have studied for more than 2 years at a university where the language of instruction is English, you can give a score which is 5 years old at max. So these are the kind of things that they require from you in the English language. Otherwise, everyone has to give the English language test. And the test accepts here the Duolingo English test. 120 is the requirement at Duolingo. IELTS, they need a minimum of 7 out of 9 with no less than 6.5 in each band. TOEFL is also accepted, IBT, so they require an overall score of greater than 94. And the sectional cutoffs are also there: reading, listening, speaking, and writing, 20 to 22, 26, 24 respectively. And paper based is also accepted post July 17. Overall score is 68 and greater. Reading 22, listening 24, and writing 22. And TOEFL PBT, paper based test, you require a score of greater than 587 with a minimum of 56 in listening, 61 in writing, and 56 in reading. So these are the test scores that they accept. Now, if we talk about the courses that are being taught as part of this course, are divided in terms of the specialty that you follow. I told you about there are three different specialties that you can see. So apart from that, I mean, there are some courses that are common to all the specialty. Like 7 courses are there, which are business skills for data scientists, data analytics consulting, databases, introduction to data science, statistical modeling 1, statistical modeling 2, and unstructured data. And there is one personal career management class that is more towards the management side. So these are the 8 courses that are required for every specialty field. And then there are some courses that are segregated in terms of the specialty field. Let's just look into all of those. So for AI, so apart from the compulsory courses, there are 2 courses that are required from this bucket of courses: AI1, AI2, Advanced Machine Learning, Database 2, Data Sciences 2, and Reinforcement Learning. So you have to select 2 courses from this, and there is one artificial intelligence seminar course that probably would be towards the end of the course, maybe in the second semester. So these are the courses that you have to study in the AI specialty. And if you are looking out for finance, banking, and insurance side, you will be taking out 3 courses from this set of courses. So these are the courses from which you can select: advanced financial modeling, banking analytics, data analytics for consumer, financial risk management, introduction to financial market, investment portfolio management, life contingencies 2, loss models 1, Monte Carlo methods, mortality modeling, stochastic processes, survival analysis, and the mathematics of financial options. So you have to select 3 out of that if you go for the finance specialty. And if you are going for a generalist degree, generalist specialty, what you will have to do is to choose 3 courses from this long list of courses. So I'll not go and spell out all the courses. You can see, have a look, and maybe take a screenshot and later review them. So these are the courses. So these are all the courses highlighted by the squared bullets. You can have a look at it. Now, if you move on to the application timeline and application requirements, what are the documents that are required? So the application starts on October 15 for the next intake, that is the September intake. So for September 2022 intake. The application opened on October 15, 2021, and November 15 is the priority deadline. So students who apply by this deadline will receive consideration for the first round of offers. So they have the system of offering through rounds. So they have different rounds, two rounds basically. So this we generally say as the priority deadline. So for the students who are applying before November 15 are considered for the first round, and then the final deadline is January 31st. So right now the priority deadlines have been passed. I'm really sorry I couldn't make the video earlier, but you can go apply before January 31st to be considered for the second round of offers. So if you are a student whose profile is very strong, you can go apply for it, and you still have a chance for being selected at Western University. So January 31st is the last application deadline for all the international students, and 15th June is the final deadline for all the domestic or permanent resident applications. So documents that are required for this application are digital copy of your transcripts, of course. You need a digital copy of your transcripts and a digital copy of your ELP test scores, whatever test you have given, you need to have a soft copy of that test score and a PDF of the completed MDA prerequisite requirement summary form that you must download from the grad application system. So once you go to the grad application system, there is an application portal here, and once you log in into that, you will be getting an MDA prerequisite requirement summary form which you have to fill, and you have to upload that PDF copy while finally applying. And of course, you need a CV or a resume and references, one academic and one professional, or maybe two academic references if you have in that case. So these were the documents. And if you talk about the tuition fees, so for the international students, the total tuition fees is $52,110.74, which if we convert to Indian rupees corresponds to 30 lakhs 51,000 as of the current rate. These are the fees that are paid in three different semesters. So fall, winter, and summer. So you will be paying approximately $17,000 each of the semester. As for the financial aid, they have said that this is a one-year course-based professional data science course where a cooperative education term component, that summer experiential opportunity that I told you about, the internship part, is also included. So this is not a course where you will be pursuing any research or writing a thesis. So in this case, they don't provide any scholarships for that, but you can obviously look out for the external scholarships. I already have told you some exterior scholarships like Trudeau, some other scholarships. You can have a look on other videos from Canada, and you can have an idea of what are the other outdoor scholarship options that you have for this. But for that, you will have to apply separately and only after you get the offer letter from this university. Now, there are some things that I wanted to share with you guys from the frequently asked question section. Usually, I don't do that, but there are some things that I found interesting. So, there is one question: I have a 3-year degree. Can I apply? They have clearly written no. The applicants must possess a 4-year degree from an accredited university with a minimum average of at least 75% in the last 2 years of the full-time study. So, this is the hardcore requirement. It can't be helped. And how much is the application fees? So the application fees is 125 Canadian dollar as of 2021, and if you convert it into Indian rupees, that would correspond to 7,300 Indian rupees. And there is one other question that I really liked, could be in your mind as well. Do you give conditional offers if I'm missing some of the required courses? It is possible that you might miss on some of the courses that they have explicitly written because there was a long list of required courses. So they say that conditional offers may be given to strong applications that may be missing one or two prerequisite courses. So even if you are short of one or two prerequisite courses, just don't let your heart off because you will be getting a conditional offer if your application is strong enough. After you get the conditional offer, what you have to do is you will have to enroll for these courses before your start of the course. So before this course starts, you will have to complete those prerequisite courses by enrolling into this university or maybe in other university, maybe in India. So in that way, you will have some transcript for that courses as well. And once you provide the transcripts for that courses, your conditional offer may be converted to full-time offer. So this is how they work. So even if you're falling short of maybe one or two prerequisite courses, just don't worry, apply anyway, and you might get a conditional offer, and then you can later on, sort out the prerequisite courses thing. You can directly apply to Western University's courses, and you can get the credits for that. So that was all about this particular course. I hope you like this course. You're gonna apply to that, and I also hope you like this video full of information. And if you do like it, please subscribe to the channel and share this video and the channel with your friends who are looking out for data science courses. I have a lots of video already on my channel explaining the courses from around the world. I'll keep coming with all the other courses that are around the world in data science domain as much as possible. Until next video, au revoir.